Welcome to Glitches to Gold, a weekly podcast birthed from my obsession with living a successful life. It began with chasing an Olympic dream and resulted in a 30-year obsession explored through sport, neuroscience, psychology, energetics, quantum mechanics, religion, art, and beauty. Sometimes chasing and achieving external markers, and at others experiencing the absolute opposite. Yet both taught me the same undeniable truth, and I'm here to share what I have discovered in the journey of mastering the alchemy of life, turning glitches to gold and success into overflow. If you like the podcast, share the love, like, rate, and subscribe on your favourite platform. Hi, and welcome to today's episode of Glitches to Gold. And honestly, I couldn't be more excited about this Halloween edition because we're talking about one of my all-time favourite subjects. It's my birthday in a couple of weeks. I am a Scorpio. I am right in the middle of November. I'm like a full-on Scorpio. And we're not afraid of the dark. There's a whole power within the mysticism, within the unseen, within the mystical, within the dark side of the moon, being willing to look into the dark and face it. And we're going to call on some goddesses to help us have this conversation. I want to explore some of the stories that have been shared over the millennia of how to describe the dark side of the feminine. I think Kali is probably one of the greatest. She's a Hindu goddess of both time, death, and destruction, but also empowerment, creation, and liberation. The creative force of the feminine is both light and dark. The rebirth that happens when things in life, of course, must die and rise. Now, we also have Persephone, who in Greek mythology was the goddess of both the underworld and of spring. Her story is that she married Hades and lived in the underworld for 6 months of the year. And she would go under the earth. That's how we understand about, of course, the growth cycle of nature is the under the earth part that we cannot see, and then the birth and liberation of spring. And Persephone would come into the world bringing spring, light, etc. into the world. And it is all these things that we know in our psyche. Jung had lots of ways of talking about this core understanding deep into our psyche about the light and the dark and what do they mean to us and how we have projected them onto goddesses, onto stories, onto heroes and heroines. And one of my all-time favourites of this is Lilith. Considered Adam's first wife, and she was made from the same soil as Adam. And the argument with Lilith was that she was not prepared to be subservient to Adam, so she left. And the story, of course, is that she's considered the mother of demonic offspring. And what she was really saying is, I'm not prepared to be subservient. And all of these women are considered powerful women because they are able to own and claim the dark side, the destruction, the capacity to say no. Within us, there is a night and a day, a light and a dark. Halloween has so many associations in the Western world, particularly around witches and the unseen and horror, because within our psyche, we can create such horrors within ourselves. And we try to understand our own internal darkness. But whilst we stay separated from that darkness and see them as ghouls outside of ourselves, ghouls that are happening to us, we stay afraid of the dark, of our power. And it leaves us to have a lack of confidence, a lack of ability to own our voice, a lack of ability to own our boundaries, to varying degrees of being able to say, I am here, I am comfortable, I am now, because I am comfortable with my own dark power. Often when I was working with mothers, I would ask them, are you prepared to kill? And they would say, well, of course not, of course not. And I then said, so somebody is taking your child from you, what is the response? And of course, the lioness, the real animal, anger, fierce, fight. If they were protecting their child, of course, they would kill. Yeah. So we all want to believe that we're nice and lovely, but if you looked at a lioness, she is both nurturing and a killer. Yeah. We're both. It's our capacity to be self-aware, but that does not mean we have to disregard that power, that energy, because it is all of us, and it's how we use that and alchemize it to the light. The capacity of light that you can hold is in relation to the capacity you have to be able to sit in the dark. That's simply it. So if you want to have more abundance, more joy, more love, more light, more freedom, then you've got to be able to have the capacity to sit in the darkness, to accept and honor. Now, that does not mean trawling around and healing and trauma and pain and suffering forever. It's not that. From a very young age, I was afraid of my own internal capacity to destroy. I remember this, thinking I would burn everybody down. I was so powerful I could burn everybody down. But my life journey took me to work with extremities of disempowerment through abuse, trauma, grief, and deep, deep pain, horrific stories. My own stories as well, to face things that had happened to me. But the people I work with, working with families of murderers and being in the environment of people who were extremely dangerous, walking myself into the dark to face everything. Now, that was an extreme route for me to take, but I can see, because that was my path to get comfortable with it. But I've always had an attraction to horror books. I don't watch horror movies now, but I used to when I was younger, about vampires, and because I was trying to make sense, as we all do, that the power of stories is very, very important. What are we drawn to externally? Ideally not people, but we can all do that. Toxic relationships, abusive relationships. It's all about us being okay with our own inner darkness between the balance of power and disempowerment. And when we claim all the sides of ourselves, we don't have to fight anymore. We're in this constant evolving as humanity, as men, as women, as we are raising our vibe, as we are expanding our frequency, as there is a journey. And I'm not saying we're rushing from that, but what I want you to know, these stories, these goddesses, have been around for millennia. Same psychological stories trying to make sense of projections of our own divinity, our own dark side, our light side, our capacity, and to unify them. Because the only way to create confidence, create success, be in strategy for your own success, for being in empowerment and self-love and compassion for others, is that you're not projecting it, because you're holding it. So facing those goals in your mind and in your body that can be projections of shame and guilt and fear and loss and sadness. But the more that we can sit in the energy, the faster it goes, the more that we're willing to just tend to our thoughts. And why are we being activated by something external? It's a mirror to who we are. And it's okay, I need to get comfy with my dark side. And let's be honest, the dark side can be really fucking sexy. I remember times locking into my dark side, not when I was working in trauma, but that sexuality within you can be very dark and animalistic. That's where it comes from. It doesn't come from the light. It doesn't come from love. It comes from a hunger and a desire and a darkness within you that isn't bad. And that's unfortunately what we see so much of, dark being bad. But the dark side of the moon isn't bad. Night isn't bad. It's expansive and beautiful and full of stars and amazing. But it's how we see it, as this heaviness or something we're projecting as evil outside of ourselves that we can't control, something we're scared of, that our internal nervous system is being activated by something that we haven't resolved. It's simply an energy, an emotion that's stuck in your body. I should say this, I'm fully aware that for many women, and I went through this myself, be afraid of your own sexuality. And the first time you realize just how wild you can be, just how liberated you can be, and is that safe to be in your sexuality like that? Again, that can bring up the, oh my God, I'm going to destroy everything. But you are simply a creator. And as a creator, you must be able to destroy and create over and over again. I love the fact that the French call an orgasm the petit mort, the little death, because that's what it is. An orgasm is a peak of energy and then it collapses. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about an energy that's alive and then dissipates. Alive and then dissipates. When you come to energy and take it away from stories and take it away from ghouls and horror and all those bad things that we kind of project onto it, and just see it as energy that is moving, and it's physics and biology, and we can go, it's just energy. But when we feel the power of our own energy, the power of destruction and the power of creation, it's hypnotic, it's addictive, it's sexy, we lust for it, we want more of it, it scares us, and it's about our capacity of being able to hold it, lead it, own it, move with it, with sovereignty, with small steps, big visions, soul aligned, without taking away the fucking power. Yeah, it's not about lightening everything up to being some angelic state. Where's the fun in that? It's about being a fully embodied human, a fully embodied woman who owns all parts of herself, not just with compassion but with delight. Your sexuality should be delightful. Your ability to trust and own your inner bitch is delightful. Your capacity to know that you can stand up for yourself and say no with power is the most liberating thing you will ever experience. I love it every single time I have ever heard one of my clients say, I told somebody to fuck off today for the first time. It's yes. And it wasn't I was out of control. It was that I was in control. I was in control, and I knew I was in control to say, you've pushed the line. Now, of course, the better and better and better we get at it, we just sometimes have to say, no, that's not acceptable. If we can't do this, you can't lead. You can't lead as a mother. You can't lead in your own business. You can't lead as an executive. You can't lead in your community. If you are unable to claim this dark side of you and own it, love it, and be it, embody it, accept it, you will always be a walkover. You will always be a people pleaser. You will always attract dark situations to test your capacity to hold it yourself, to see into yourself, to no longer be afraid of yourself. Personal development is reclaiming your power with unity of your light and dark, of becoming the goddess of destruction and creativity, of the underworld and spring, of becoming the light and dark of the moon, and becoming Lilith, being able to say, no, I am not subservient. Not about being subservient to a man or a woman. I'm just not subservient. That I have the capacity to break the rules, to stand up. And it's not about being a petulant child. This may be quite activating for you, but it's not about being bad. It's not about being petulant. It's about not being a walkover, not being somebody who can't own their voice. The more that you can own it, you can walk into a room with presence. You can get up and be anywhere, any room, any space, any country. You can go anywhere, do anything. You have your back. You feel safe. Your body feels like a safe place to be. You can allow yourself to be wild and lose control in the bed, in orgasms and all of that, and still have focused control and being in charge of your company, your business, or still being the mother, being the equal to your partner because you're not afraid of softening to them because you've got comfy with your own capacity to be the dark feminine, to be rageful, to be loving, to be creative. And the more that you get comfy, the less the rage is there, the less the anger is there. Everything becomes potent and held. Like when I learnt to do Wing Chun, I still remember him saying, I'm going to teach you how to kill. And it was to shock us. But the truth was, what we were practicing was that you never ever have to attack anybody because you feel so strong in your body. And when I was learning to do fencing, I got to play with the delight of attacking somebody in a safe, good, right environment in competition. Yeah. So that my lioness, my huntress, could go out and play. Yeah. She could play, because we still need to do that. If you've ever watched your cats, if you have cats, oh my goodness, are they hunters? Accepting that we are both animal and spiritual. That's what it means to be human. We are the light and the dark. And so much of our disempowerment comes from separation of those things. Separation from nature, separation from our animalistic state, separation from our light and dark, separation instead of unity and love. The light. So instead of going, oh, that person's bad and I'm good, or I was just thinking Wicked, what a brilliant example of projecting onto somebody else that she's the bad witch and Glenda's the good witch. It's this idea that I have to be one or the other, where instead your true empowerment for your business, for your life, for your home life, for your family, to be the best mother you can be, to be the best teacher, to be the contribution you want to be in this lifetime, comes with harmonizing the dark feminine with the light feminine, the masculine and the feminine within you. It's this harmonizing. And often what is getting in the way of you having abundance is because your dark feminine is not in your control, and she's having a bitch fight with your inner masculine, who's trying to give you structure. And she's so busy attacking, you are not comfortable, and she's on the defensive and she's attacking your internal masculine and then the external masculine that's trying to give you structure and support and security, and you're projecting all of that onto the universe, all onto your manifestations, all onto your business, all onto everything outside of yourself, when in fact it's just a fight going on between you and you, going, I want to sit in this holy place of, I'm an angelic angel and I never have to do anything, and isn't it marvellous? Whereas when your divine self feels secure by your masculine and your dark feminine, so you've got those parts of yourself that are collated and held, so your bitch turns into a witch instead of being a bitch, and you become a goddess and a queen and stop being a little princess who's on the defensive. All of those journeys, wherever you are on those journeys, but the more that you come to that is the more that you can hold the light, the more that you can hold abundance, because abundance is both material, physical, spiritual. You can't have just one. If you want abundance, if you want success, if you want gold, and you want this lifetime to be rich and full in all the ways, in how you show up and share up and be and express yourself, then it comes with being okay and saying, okay, this is where I'm at. And sometimes we need to get help for that, and sometimes we don't. Yeah, sometimes we need help for it and sometimes we don't. And it's been interesting for me. As I said last time, we were launching the Golden Circle. I've been talking about that. It launched this week. We did an online version and the in-person version, and it activated in me clarity to upgrade, to shift, to drop. It had its first outing and I was like, oh, my body was like, yes, and then it was a hell fucking no to some things. So I am keeping it clean. We've dropped things and it's coming out again for November. It will be launching again. I'm very excited. It's my birthday month. Starts on the 1st. I am offering some big, fucking amazing, wonderful offers for my birthday month, including working with me one-to-one. That is an offer that's going to give you the Golden Circle, working with me one-to-one, and absolutely full access to the portal for 6 months of all of my programs, but most importantly, working with me one-to-one. So if any of this is really activated today, there's 5 spots. That's it for the month. So it's 50% off to work with me for 6 months. And then I'm offering a 2-week trial to be inside of the Golden Circle in the membership area. So we're going to be running it as a membership for a month. Because what happens is when you're in big, large amounts of light, if you're in the sun, you know there's going to be a dark time. And so holding for that month and attending the feminine side, the very rich, beautiful feminine frequency that is the Golden Circle of Abundance, we then get to be held within the weekly sessions, but also we have a Telegram group. And there's a space for you to then be able to move through your process of up-leveling, expanding your abundance. So that's very much group wise, and there is a very special offer in there where you can attend for 2 weeks, a free trial for 2 weeks, 14 days, just for this November, to come and join the membership. Super excited. It's all available for you on glitchestogold.com. That's glitchestogold.com. If you head on over there, and of course, come join me in any of the Facebook groups. There is a Golden Circle Facebook group. There is, of course, Success Alchemy. You can go to glitchestogold.com, you'll find everything there, or head on over to Facebook and just put in Success Alchemy or put in the Golden Circle HQ. You can come and join us there, and or on Instagram. So I love having you on this podcast. I love being here and being able to get super passionate about this. Halloween or Samhain, however you approach it, is such a beautiful time, and you get a chance to alchemize it from being something that is about ghouls. But if that is your attraction, also see it for what it is, because it is a phase, and it's really important to recognize whether you find it sexy, whether you find it a turn on, whether you find it liberating, whether you find the little bit of fear, because it's really important to have that. If you like roller coasters, you'll know you like risk. Use this time to explore. But today we're talking about those goddesses who hold the dark and the light. They are both. And those stories are there to inspire, not to ignore, but to inspire the fullness of womanhood in her empowerment of the divinity in all its forms and human alignment. So really exciting. I hope you've enjoyed this. Do share in any of the groups or contact me, get in touch. I love hearing from you, and share this around to any woman you know, and make sure to like, subscribe and rate on your favourite podcast.